What's going on, fellas? So today I'm going to discuss how ghost mode changed my life and ultimately turned me into a monster. Now, fellas, I need you to take notes and pay attention today because I guarantee you, if you're at the point in your life where nothing is working in your favor and everything is not going quite right, I guarantee you, G, if you're focused and locked down, your life will do a full 180. All right, G, and I'm not telling you this from a book. All right, fella, there's a lot of self-improvement guys that are going to preach to you about ghost mode, but they never actually submerged themselves in the darkness and had to go through the pain and the fire, battling their own demons, traumas, and mistakes in order to come out and be the best version of themselves. All right, fellas, so we're about a quarter into the new year. And if you have not yet jumped on your goals and started working on yourself and being productive and getting the shit that you need to get done, you're behind. Now, it's not too late because I've seen men do things in 6 months when they focus that it took a lot of men 6 years to do. All right, fellas? So we all have the same amount of time. It's just about how you use it. So in these next 3 to 6 months, I need you to focus on. There's 4 areas that I always talk about. All right, fellas? The 4 facets of life. That's health, wealth, relationships, and spirituality. All right, guys, and these are the things when I went into ghost mode. And by the way, I've been in ghost mode twice in my life. Once when I really hit rock bottom, and the second time when I really wanted to take my life serious and move over to that next level. So like I said, G, this is self-experience. All right, G, so the first level or the first area in life that I upgraded and leveled up in is my health. Now, I've been in great shape my whole life. I'm going to be honest with you. This comes from great genetics. This comes from me being in sports my whole life. I got military, martial arts, football, track background. I'm an athlete for life. So when it came to health and fitness, it wasn't all about me looking better, and it wasn't all about me building a great physique. The biggest thing for me, fellas, was narrowing down what I wanted for my life. See, when I say life is pain, G, I mean that. If you're out of shape or you're skinny, you got to deal with the pain of not having a great physique and not having muscle and not being strong. Now, this is the problem when you are strong and you have muscle and you've been like this for your whole life. You're used to it. Let's say you've had a lot of money your whole life and you've been born in a rich family. You don't really value money, so you don't take care of it when you get it, and when you lose it, it's not a big deal for you. All right, G, so that was my problem when it came to health and fitness. Because I've always had a great physique, I'm not going to lie, I wasn't consistent with my regimen. As long as my body looked good, I did just enough. So I wasn't training for discipline, I was training for aesthetics. But when I went into ghost mode, this is me, fellas. It's my story. But when I went into ghost mode and I started training for discipline and I made it an everyday thing and I did it even when I didn't want to or even when I didn't like to do it, or no matter the result my body physically would get, as long as it helped my mind, I was all for it. All right, fellas. So this is one of the things for me. Like I said, some of you guys need to get in shape. Some of you guys need to focus on this and make this a priority in ghost mode because you're fat, or you're lazy, or you got bad health. For other guys, it's different reasons. Some of you guys are only working out to get the attention from women. So as soon as you get the attention from women, you stop working out. All right, guys, so that was me. Now, I never stopped working out. I would just slack a little bit while I'm having fun with women. All right, fellas, but one of the things that ghost mode did to reprogram my mind is to say you train no matter what. No matter if you're trying to look good, no matter if you're trying to get healthy, no matter if you're trying to get stronger, no matter if it's just a daily discipline. As a man, you train no matter what. So now it's a non-negotiable. If I don't get my workout in, which is very rare, G, but if I don't get my workout in for the day, I am not in a great mood. Why? Because it became a daily habit, practice, and almost a ritual, guys. So I say that to say, if you're having problems with staying consistent in the gym, fellas, as a man, it's not just about the gym. It's about taking care of your body and being strong. So however you got to do it, maybe you don't go to the gym. Maybe you do it at the crib. But if you're having problems with taking care of your health or staying consistent when it comes to health and fitness, a little bit of ghost mode is probably necessary to tighten your screws. All right, fellas? Next thing that ghost mode did for me personally when it came to health and fitness was getting control of my diet. Now, like I said, I have great genetics. So I'm that type of guy that he can kind of eat a whole pizza and get away with it. Then eat a burger after that. Then eat an ice cream sandwich after that. And I won't gain a pound. All right, that's just how it is. I got a fast metabolism, I think it's almost impossible for me to get fat. I done tried the G. Now, maybe speaking for my age, because I'm only 34, and I know when I get older, the shit goes slow down. But before, my biggest problem was, yeah, man, I got a great physique. I got great genetics. I can eat what I want. But what I found out, fellas, is as I'm getting older, yeah, my body still may look good, but internally, that doesn't mean all the functions are working properly. So like I said, this may not be your issue, but for me, G, if I wasn't on a bodybuilding regimen getting ready for a show, I was eating whatever the hell I want. And when you young or when you're in your early 30s, you don't feel the immediate effects. But as you get older, the shit definitely catches up with you. So like I said, when it comes to health and fitness, you may relate to this in different ways. But this is my story. All right, G, next one. All right, fellas, remember I said there's 4 areas in life: health, wealth, relationships, and spirituality. All right, guys, so we're going to talk about wealth. And this is going to be your money and your finances. So how did Ghost Mode help me cure the disease of financial illiteracy? All right, fellas, see, when you come from the hood, G, I don't know about you guys, but when you come from the hood, you go through a lot of without, a lot of lack thereof. So when you finally get something, G, you don't know how to act. All right, guys, my whole life I've been poor. Even in most of my adulthood, most of my 20s, I was broke, G. Whether it was living with my mama, whether it was couch to couch, whether it was me living in my car at certain points in my life. G, most of my life I didn't do well financially. But it wasn't until I hit the age of about 29, 30 that I crossed 6 figures. I literally went from $25,000 to $30,000 a year to $120,000 a year within a year. So there was a lot of good about that, meaning I can take care of my family. I started paying some of my mom's bills. All my bills was taken care for. I was able to have fun, go out, treat myself. But the downside was I literally self-sabotaged my finances. See, it's one thing to not have something and to never have it, all right? Because you cool with it. If you come from the hood and you never see anything good and you never see success, you ain't even bothered by it, G. Why? Because you never saw it. You never got a taste of it. But once you taste a little bit of success or a little bit of money and you lose it, it's the worst thing in the world, fellas, because you got to go back to being a loser. See, it's one thing being a loser your whole life. But if you a loser, then you go up, then you go back down, G. Now you got to explain to people why you a failure. Now you got to go back to your old life and reminisce about that short-lived life of pleasure that you had. All right, guys, I went through that, and it was the worst experience in my life. And I used to tell myself, G, I'd rather had never made money. G, I'd rather had never made money than to make it and lose it. All right, guys, so what did I not have when it came to finances? I didn't have discipline. But once I went into ghost mode, I realized that most times it's not that you're not making enough money. A lot of times with a lot of men, you're spending too much. You're being careless. You're being frivolous with your money. And this is one of the biggest problems that young men have. See, a lot of men don't even have a problem with making money. They have a problem with keeping it and investing it and not living a life of degenerate just because they're making a couple bucks. All right, fellas, so that was my issue. But once I went into ghost mode, I started reviewing my finances. I wasn't going out having fun with chicks anymore, so I wasn't spending money on that. See, if you take ghost mode serious, you will realize that a lot of problems in life that you have, G, are your fault. All right, a lot of the calamities, a lot of the misfortunes, a lot of the dumb shit that happened in my life was my fault because I was doing dumb shit. And what do I always say, G? Dumb shit leads to dumb shit. So I make this practical. If you make money and you go out and use that money to do dumb shit, guarantee you will get what you paid for, which is dumb shit. All right, fellas, so as a man, this is one of the things that a lot of guys, matter of fact, G, it ain't even being talked about. You have to, it is a must that you take care of your finance area in life. That ghost mode absolutely transformed for me was my relationships. All right, guys, and I'm going to title this as people. Fellas, without people, without others, there are no relationships. Relationships do not exist without you including other people in your life. And not only you including other people in your life, but you getting along with other people. All right, fellas. Now, as I told you guys, I'm a former crash out. And the reason why is because I had a sickness and a disease that I had to cure. I had to cure my ego. And once I cured that, I realized that sometimes my shit stink. And sometimes I am not always right. Your ego can get you in a lot of trouble, or it can make you lose a lot of opportunities, Or in some cases, it can cause you to lose your reputation. All right, guys, and I was on the brink of that. If I didn't take that time to isolate myself and realize the problem that I had, I would have continued to blame people, and I would have continued to end up in toxic situations and toxic relationships. So just like everybody else, G, I have flaws. One of my biggest flaws is because I'm so damn stern and assertive, this leads to stubbornness. So in the past, if you would come to me with your opinion about a topic or your suggestion or recommendation, if I thought my solution was better, more times than not, I didn't want to hear your side or I didn't want to hear your opinion. All right. And this made my relationship toxic because it made my relationships all about me. So everybody who I got with, they felt like they had to walk on eggshells in order to be around me. They felt like they didn't have a voice. They didn't have an opinion. Nothing that they said or did mattered unless I approved of it. All right, fellas, like I said, I'm being vulnerable. This is my story, so some of you guys can relate to it. So a lot of the reason why your relationships are failing is because of that. And the beautiful thing about ghost mode and isolating yourself and spending that time alone is you will realize that you can't blame anybody. So if something bad happens, it's your fault. And this was a reflection for me because in the past, if something bad would have happened, my immediate response was to blame somebody else. Even though I wanted full control, I only took full responsibility when I won or when I succeeded or when it made me look good. But if I had to take the accountability and it made me look bad, I'll put it on somebody else. But when you spend that time alone, you'll realize that you can't put it on anybody else. And everything bad in your life that happens to you, every misfortune, every inconvenient situation is your fault. 100%. So one of the biggest things you're going to get if you take it serious inside of ghost mode is accountability. Why? Because you have nobody else to blame while you're isolated. All right. And another thing with people in relationships that ghost mode helped me with is pertaining to women. When I locked down, G, for about 9 months, when I totally got off of social media, I wasn't texting hoes. I wasn't doing none of that, bro. I was straight focused on work and the gym. That was it. I realized what type of women I don't and I do want in my life. And how did I figure this out? I started taking care of myself and loving myself more. See, a lot of you guys, you pick bad women and you ignore red flags because you don't like yourself enough. G, I love myself so much, I'd be damned, G. If I let a woman with any type of mental issues or anything wrong with her come in my life and fuck my shit up, the shit that I've built. And you don't even have to build anything, G. You just have to love yourself enough. But now I guarantee you when you do start to build stuff and you do start to be productive, you'll be damned if you let somebody come in there and tear it down. But guys, you got to focus on loving yourself and appreciating yourself for who you are. One of the things you got to do is stop trying to change yourself to impress other people. Gee, it is useless for you to do all this work just to impress people, just to make other people happy. And when you look in the mirror, you don't like yourself because you're either compromising, you're simping, you're doing some shit you know ain't right. So a lot of you guys probably need ghost mode, G, and some isolation so you can get over being a people pleaser, so you can value yourself more, so you can stop putting other people's thoughts, opinions, and values over yours. All right. Now, the last thing. All right, fellas. Remember I said there are 4 areas in life that every man should be continuously working on: his health, his wealth, his relationships, and also his spirituality and his relationship with God. Now, fellas, I don't know if you're religious. I don't know if you're spiritual. Some guys say they're spiritual and not religious. Some guys say they're full-blown. Gee, I don't care. All right. You need to have a relationship and a connection with a higher power, something bigger than you. I know a lot of young men these days are caught up in clown world and caught up in the propaganda, and you have been confused and bamboozled, and somebody told you that God wasn't real. All right, and somebody told you that it is better to be spiritual than religious. Gee, I ain't judging nobody. All right, fellas, but the reason why a lot of men have lost their fucking cranium and gone off the deep end about this stuff is because they're lost in the fucking world, G. You got all these messages coming in your ear every day. People telling you this on social media. You got all these conspiracy theories. You try to open your Bible once, but it don't work. Why? Because you can't stay off your phone. G, lock down. I guarantee you, out of everything, out of all the self-improvement hacks I done in my life, this was the most important one. All right, fellas, without this, without God, none of this works. None of it works. I've seen money come and go. I've seen health come and go. I've seen people come and go. God is persistent and he'll never leave you. All right, and you'll never understand that if you're confused and you're distracted by the day-to-day clown world nonsense. So you gotta lock in, fellas. There's a lot of work to do for a lot of you guys. Some of you guys are 2 yards away from the goalpost, meaning all you gotta do is take care of one thing and you're there. Some of you guys, you're about 100 yards away. You just caught the kickoff and you gotta make it through life. All right, fellas, but wherever you are, you may have to take a smaller bit of time. Maybe it's 3 months. Maybe it's 1 month. Maybe it's a few weeks. Maybe it's 6 months. Maybe it's a full year. But you know what you need to focus up and get your shit together. All right, fellas. So I hope you guys paid attention today. All right, fellas, because like I said, we're about a quarter into the new year. And if you have not started on your goals or even made up in your mind what the hell you want, you are far behind. All right, G. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in today. Share this with a homeboy that this will help out. All right, fellas. It's your boy KD. We out here, baby.